Well, racy pasts, things that happen to us in our childhood that sometimes we don't have any control over. That is just beginning to peel back the layers of onion on this book. It's called 100 Honeymoons. It's by author J.S. Wilson. J.S., glad that you're here today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Boy, there are a lot of layers to this. Let's go ahead and start by generally talking about the nature of the book, what it's about, and what prompted you to write it.
What prompted me to write it was I thought the story of young people growing up with the challenges of that in many ways, and sometimes being mistreated by adults,
Hmm.
and yet they came out okay. I thought it was both an interesting story for people might read, and I wanted to tell the story. I thought it was interesting.
And the story is what? About abuse, exploitation of younger people?
Yes, two young people fall in love in high school,
Mhm.
and this love is on and off like a lot of young love. And some people come along and exploit them for their growing up challenges and how they survive those challenges and how they succeed and
Hmm.
how events in the world interfere with that. For instance, girl's a cheerleader. She gets hit on a lot.
Mhm.
Why the Vietnam War comes along and the male guy, young boy gets involved in that. Doesn't want to, but that's the way it goes. And that's the general gist of it in San Luis Obispo, California. And every street and every venue is real. You can walk it if you want to.
Hmm. Um, when we're talking about this inspiring you, what was it? Was there a moment in time that you thought, you know what, this story needs to be shared? Was there something that was just triggered that prompted this?
Yes. I had contact with a person from a long time ago in my life who was involved in this sort of thing.
Mm.
And she she told me about her life and how it had come out better and things. And I thought, wow, went through all that, and yet here she was, successful, rich, happy, accomplished, etc. And that just got me going, starting on it. I started the book by recording it on a tape recorder, and then having it translated by a secretary type person. And then I got to the point where I could write. And since I'd done a lot of writing anyway before this, but not a novel, it just started pouring out of me. I just couldn't stop. And that went on in the 90s for about 3 years. And then I put it down for 15 years. I got remarried, and my wife encouraged me to go into this again. And again, I picked it up and couldn't stop.
Hmm.
The story just grew on me, and all the people just came to me as a interesting thing, and it was really fun to write. It was hard but fun.
Sure. I mean, they're heavy topics that you're dealing with exploitation and, trying to figure us out in our teenage times and everything. But it sounds like ultimately it's a book of hope coming through all that dirt and confusion and ending up better out because of it.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
That's it. These people come out okay, and even if some of the bad people in it turn out to resolve, find a way through themselves.
Hmm.
And of course, there's some big events that just hit the whole country, like the Vietnam War comes along in the middle of this, because the book takes place over about 15 years,
Hmm.
and it's in 4 parts, 450 something pages,
Wow.
uh, and again, I know all these people. There's some are composites, but I know all of these people are real.
This is very personal to you. Y- you talk about carnal knowledge playing such a role, not just in the book, but in love stories. Would you expound on that?
Yeah, I think not maybe most young people have to identify who they are, and carnal things come along in your young life. You have to fit into growing up.
Mm,
You don't know where you're going.
right.
Now, and some people who may grow up physically very quickly, uh, but emotionally they're not, and that leaves them open to exploitation and to making mistakes, which lots of people make, which I made,
Sure.
uh, as a challenge, and how to come through that and still have a happy life.
So, I mean, I almost see how in reading this, there could be a sense of forgiving ourselves for things that we've done. I mean, looking at ourselves through these characters. Would you say that?
Well, I never thought about that, but it's possible that you've seen something else in it
Hmm.
that I didn't think about. But that's forgiving oneself. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, there's some of that in it.
Even when it's not our fault, even when it was adults that were maybe controlling the situation and exploiting them and causing them the pain, I think sometimes victims still blame themselves. I mean, even though they were manhandled and controlled by adults, there's an unforgiveness of self.
Yeah, but even more, that volunteering to do these things that are risque and really out there and liking it, and then coming back later and saying, "Wow, maybe I shouldn't have gone that far."
Mm,
That's that's the real thing. Is that we're tempted into this because of temporary pleasures and temporary advantages and wanting to be popular. I
yeah,
mean, that was a big deal in high school, wanting to be popular at
yeah,
any price, and how to be popular. I mean, it's just, there's all kinds of things. Like, for instance, sports takes place in this book, and Todd, the male lead, is on a boxing team, and how that he's tempted by that.
mm,
Uh, Sally on the book in the book is asked to be a cheerleader, and these are the leaders, the most popular girls in the school, and how they're use that to exploit them. Yet they want to be that popular person.
mm-hmm.
I, and I think that happens to each person in a different way. Now, I've told the story of the people I knew, but I think everybody has that challenge, and and in some cases, yeah, volunteer for it.
Yeah. So I don't want to embarrass you, but I do want to talk about the fact that this has been quite an award winner. I mean, you have an award in the mail coming. I was hoping you could show it today, but can you at least tell us about it?
Yes, I've been reviewed by about 8 or 9 different review companies that have some worked through my publisher Ex Libris, and some just went after it. And Pacific Book Review reviews it, and I've got the review right here with me. And about 3 months ago or so, Pacific Book Review named it the best romance novel of 2021. Another review, I think it was Online Book Reviews, made honorable mention. Those are the 2 reviews I have so far that have given
That's
awards.
pretty prestigious. So congratulations on that. We've got to wrap up, but tell me where the book is available.
It's available through Ex Libris, my publisher. It's You can go to Barnes and Noble in California, Alaska, and Arizona and get it at Barnes and Noble. Amazon, you can get it over Amazon. Ex Libris is probably the best, and it's on the
Okay.
flyer that I have.
That's
Um,
wonderful.
yeah, and I'm enjoying the reviews as well as this interview with you. I
Well,
want to thank you very much for the opportunity.
you're very welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We encourage you to get the book, leave a review, and thank you. We hope to talk to you maybe later this year.
Thank you very much myself.